Roger here from Big Fat Simulations, playing the newly released Approach Control Remastered, available for PC, Mac, iOS, Android, and coming to Steam very soon. This video is me playing a 20-minute challenge called Emergency Mode. This will be a lot of me talking. If you're into the game, that's great. You can listen, and I'll try and give you some air traffic control basics while handling the odd jet emergency. So here we go. We've got budget 825 crossing overhead the localizer. I'm going to set them up for a downwind fashion approach, just like Steel Flight 669 that's on a downwind leg at 4,000 feet. So as you can see, Steel Flight is on a heading of 150, and if you look at the localizer track, 330, if you do the math on that, you'll see that they're polar opposites. That's 180 degrees difference, which is what a downwind leg is. So, like I said, there's not a whole lot of math in air traffic control, but there are about 3 vector headings that you want to memorize for each sector that you play. And one of them is the 150 heading for downwind leg. All right, let's bring this Steel Flight down to 3,000 feet. 3,000 feet's a nice altitude to intercept the localizer. Those of you who aren't familiar with ILS approaches or glide path approaches, aircraft basically descend at about 300 feet per mile. So traditionally, you'll put them at 3,000 feet, and you'll give them at least a 10-mile final. It's a big no-no to put them onto the localizer too high. So this Steel Flight, it would be a mistake to stick them onto a 6-mile final at 3,000 feet. That would be very difficult for the pilot. Okay, here's budget 825. They're ready for a downwind turn of 150. There we go. And Steel Flight 669 is ready for a base leg of 240. Where did I get 240 from? Let's think about that. If you run the math on the localizer track of 330 and this heading I just gave of 240, there's a 90-degree difference. So I've given a perfect base leg. I like nice perfect numbers. I don't like grabbing airplanes and just dragging them around to arbitrary headings. I like order wherever I can make it happen. So let's get budget down. They're a little high still. I'm busy talking and I'm not controlling. Steel Flight 669, they're on a 240 heading. It's now time to give them an intercept heading of 300. Now, where did that heading come from? Well, when we intercept an aircraft on a final approach path, we want to give them a 30-degree intercept. So if the localizer track is 330, that means, you guessed it, we want to give them a 300 heading. And there you have it, folks. There are the 3 headings that you need to memorize. Downwind leg of 150, base of 240, and intercept of 300. You can write that down on a piece of paper or just try to remember it. It won't take you long to memorize. All right, budget 825 is just about ready for a base leg. What's this? Fireflight 972 reports toilet fire out of control. Okay, that's not okay. So we're going to give them maximum priority. Fireflight 972 is going to get about a 250 heading from me. I'm going to bring him right down to 3,000. And I've got a couple of aircraft that could be a problem. So budget 825, I'm sorry, but you're going to get a tour of the bay. Steel Flight 669, I'm going to cancel their approach. I'm going to give them about like a 260 heading. You see how I did that? I just dragged the heading and it cancels the approach. The aircraft immediately climbs back to 3,000 feet if it's not already there. And I'm going to climb them up to 5,000 because they're going on a tour as well. So everybody out of the way, we've got a toilet fire. When I created these emergencies, I thought about whether I want serious emergencies or whether I want to have some fun. And I do boast that this is a realistic air traffic control sim. And it kind of is. If you look at the aircraft behaviors and the radar sweep, I like to think I nailed it. But I like to be fun, too. So this is, after all, supposed to be a pocket simulator. And even though I'm playing it on my Mac right now, but that's fine. So anyway, the emergencies are a little bit ridiculous. Okay, so Fireflight 972 is doing just fine. We'll bring this budget 825 around and behind them, give them 3,000 feet. Fireflight's going to need 2,000 because they're going to be intercepting inside of 10 miles final. All right, what's next here? Big Jet 313, I'll bring them down to 5,000 feet, just 5,000, because they're over top of a standard arrival route. You see that red line? A 4,000-foot star. So I don't want to want to be at 4,000 feet in the vicinity of that star at all. All right, Steel Flight 669, they need some instructions. I just broke them off the approach rudely, and they're headed to infinity. So I've given them a turn to the northeast to bring them back into the pack. That's the idea. Budget 825, keep that turn going left, heading 240. That'll be their base leg. And Big Jet 313 can fly downwind, 150. I'm trying to restore order here if I can. Okay, Fireflight 972 can have the intercept of 300. You see how early I turn them. They're still a couple miles from the localizer, but it's time to turn them. You'll see. It'll be a nice, smooth intercept. Supervisor gets a little upset if you don't give perfect intercepts. All right, Big Jet 313 can go down to 4,000 feet, while budget is at 3,000 beneath them. And Future Jet 883 can stay at 5,000. I'm going to slow them down a little bit because they're going to be on a very lengthy downwind leg. This sector has a problem. It tends to traffic gets bunched up down at the bottom here where you see budget 825. You run out of room every time. Big Jet's on downwind. They're going to have to extend their downwind. We've got 2-3 more coming. So you really have to use this bay area, the middle of the radar screen, to sort out your order. Don't put them on downwind unless a base leg is really imminent. So my point here is I've slowed down Future Jet. Steel Flight, there's a reason why I put them at 5,000, because they are going to follow in behind Big Jet. So it's one big long train of airplanes. Okay, so Fireflight 972 is doing fine. They just intercepted, and hopefully they make it. Budget 825 needs an intercept turn, and Big Jet needs a base turn, and they can come down to 3,000 feet. Future Jet going to slow them down a bit more, down to about 190. All right, life's good. We have some order here. Now, I program this game, and I know that Fireflight is on a timer. I don't know how long the timer is. It's a random timer. Typically, it's between 4 and 6 minutes. So I know there's a great chance this thing is going to start flashing and plummeting out of the sky. And it will happen sometimes when you play this game. All right, Big Jet 313 needs an intercept vector of 300. Are you starting to see the pattern here yet? Blue Star can get 5,000, only 5,000 because of the north standard arrival route. Oh, I didn't think about that, did I? I've got Steel Flight aiming at Future Jet. I actually didn't think of that. I'm going to just widen them out a little bit to the northeast. Oh, there we go. Fireflight 972 didn't make it. Yeah, supervisor's kind of upset about that. Now, in this game, you actually don't get penalized for crashes. It wasn't your fault. I mean, you did everything you could. We took that airplane, we steered it as tight as we dared, and we still couldn't save those folks. So there you go. Base turn for Big Jet 911. Steel Flight 699 can have a downwind leg. Blue Star 599 is going to stop. I'm going to stop them at 6,000 feet. Because they're going to tangle with Steel Flight up ahead here. All right, life's good. Let's bring Future Jet 883. Says the guy who just had an airplane go down over the localizer. So this looks a bit clunky, doesn't it? This Blue Star overtaking this Steel Flight. That's fine. I already know I have to take Blue Star on a bit of a tour. They're going to just stay on that heading for a few miles. Steamer Flight 732 to the east. They can slow right down. Big Jet can get a vector intercept of 300. Now let's just start bringing everybody down. 4,000 for you, 3,000 for you. How's our spacing on final here? If you've watched my previous video, you know all about compression. This budget 825, in a moment, they're going to slam on the brakes. They're going to slow themselves down to a touchdown speed, something like 130 or 140. And meanwhile, Big Jet is steaming along at 200 knots. So that separation that you see between their two 3-mile minimum rings, there's not a whole lot to spare. If I leave that alone just like that, they'll land with just enough spacing. And then we got Big Jet steaming up behind. Oh, I'm falling asleep here. Emergency. Oh, what is he saying? Emergency traffic holding steady. Keep those workflows sharp. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. All right, I'm getting a little bunched up here. Steamer flight can slow down a little more. And I did fall asleep there a little bit while I was talking to you. Future Jet 883, they can keep that turn going all the way around to 300 to intercept. And I'm going to do this thing I hate, where I tell a pilot to slow down and then I later tell them to speed up. That's a pilot favorite right there. Okay, Blue Star 559 can have a downwind turn and they can come down to 4,000. This is looking a little cozy between all these airplanes here. Just a little cozy. Okay, I'm going to turn Steel Flight to 240 now. Hopefully that fits them in between Future Jet and Steamer Flight. I can slow starburst down. They can expect a... What's this? Steamer Flight 732 reports cheetah running wild in the cabin. That's just perfect. Okay, so no problem at all. We'll give them a 300 from there. That's going to be their intercept. And I think it goes without saying they should go as fast as they can. I haven't actually programmed that logic in that the pilots would elect to pick up their speed. I do think I can keep this Future Jet ahead of them, so I'm not going to break them off the approach. But what I will do is I'll take Steel Flight right out of the picture. They'll keep the turn going. And Blue Star, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. So if I have to, I'll break Future Jet off of the localizer by dragging their heading to something left or right, and that will cancel their approach. I really want to give this Steamer Flight maximum priority. Okay, normally if there was a cheetah running loose on an airplane, I probably would steer clear of the aircraft, but instead I've got this Steel Flight that's just barely above them in a screaming right turn to get out of their way. Blue Star can have a base turn. Blue Star can have 3,000. Okay, it's getting a little crazy around here. What am I going to do? I'm going to turn you to the east. I'm going to turn you to the east as well. I'm actually not feeling too good about this Future Jet. They're coming off the approach. I'm going to climb them to 5,000. We really don't want to lose another airplane, folks. That's going to give me a very bad record. Okay, some of you are probably looking at this Steamer Flight with the cheetah, and you're thinking, yeah, but aren't you supposed to have them at 2,000 feet because of that tight base? And you are quite correct. So I'm going to give them lower here. Let's give them 2,000 feet. And let's give Blue Star an intercept. This is a bit sloppy, but that's okay. So Blue Star is turning to 300 to follow the cheetah flight, or the Steamer Flight, pardon me. And we've got a couple of aircraft up here to the north, and there's not a whole lot I can do. I'm going to give Starburst a right turn to follow in behind their company Starburst. And I'm going to just steer you to the north. Everybody gets a tour today. Okay. That is a rather tight final. In reality, we would not be giving them that tight of a gate. It kind of depends on the emergency. If an airplane's about to fall out of the sky, you basically aim them at the airport. If they've got a minor emergency, you want to give them a nice stable final. And what I'm doing here, it looks like I'm putting them on a 6-mile final, too high. But it's a game, and we can pretend that it's rather critical that they get their butts on the ground as quickly as possible. At the moment, it's looking really... It's not looking good. They had their emergency way out here, and I did tell you about that timer, right? They're on a ticker, so I don't know. Okay, let's start establishing an order here. Steamer Flight's first, Blue Star's second, Steel Flight's third, Starburst is fourth, Starburst Company is fifth, and we're just going to try and make this all happen as best we can. Bring them down to 3,000 feet. Let's start tightening everybody up. Keep your speed up. Everybody gets to keep their speed up. So Starburst has been given a 240 for base. We'll see how that looks. 5 more minutes. Almost through the chaos. Thank you. I'm going to just tap on his face to make him go away. I wish that was possible in life. Don't you just wish you could tap your supervisor and they would be gone? All right. Okay, let's give them 3,000 feet. Starburst can come down to 4,000 in a moment here. What a mess I've got going here. There is only 4 minutes left in this particular exercise, and wouldn't it be nice if one of these airplanes with an emergency could successfully land? That would be a bonus. Okay, Starburst can come down to 4,000. They're right over top of another aircraft that's descending down to 3. And while that might seem like a good idea, what we really should have done was waited for Starburst to achieve 3,000 before assigning 4,000. That's just it's a best practice. All right, let's start building the rest of our order here. Iron Flight can come down to 6,000 feet. Oh, no, not again. Look at that. God, what a drag. Merry Christmas, huh? All right. Well, aside from the catastrophes, my spacing is exceptional. Too dark? All right. Okay, Starburst can have 3,000 feet. Oops, I'm going to put them onto a base heading of 240. Like I said, this sector has no lengthy final. You can't extend an aircraft's downwind to oblivion like you can in many other sectors. But so here you really have to have your plan before you put them onto the downwind leg. So here's Future Jet, and I'm thinking, where do they go? Well, why don't we slow you down to 190, and we'll turn this Future Jet, not you. No, this is the problem with video games. Is sometimes it's hard to. We've got a bit of a issue with which aircraft I'm selecting. All right. I was a little late on the turn with Starburst 286. That's my bad. Future Jet 883 can have 4,000. Yeah. This guy's turning too sharply for the localizer. I'm aware of that. All right, Starburst is slowing down so that I have a hole to fit this Future Jet into. And aside from that, I don't really have much of a plan. I'm just kind of winging it here. Okay, Starburst 978 can have an intercept heading of 300. Iron Flight can go down to 4,000 feet. So you can see I've got a new plan now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's like a nice long string of pearls. Okay, Future Jet 883 can make a base turn of 240. Yeah, should work. Starburst can slow down a little more, give him 180. That's not looking too good. Slow them down to 1. What's this? What is this? What fresh hell is this? Starburst 257, toilet fire out of control. All right, so what we'll do is we'll give them the 300 heading, and I imagine they're going to want a faster speed. Throw the rulebook out the window. And Future Jet, they can just keep that turn going to the right to a northbound heading of 360. They'll stay at 4,000 feet. And I'll have this Starburst flight just keep their speed up a little bit. Just give me 230 to the final approach fix if you can. And that's how we're going to solve that. And looks like I've completed this challenge, though. I've got about 30 seconds left, and then I get the congratulatory trophy for all of my fine controlling, despite the loss of life. Okay, so well, there you have it, folks. This is the emergency mode challenge of Approach Control Remastered, which I just released, and I'm having fun with it. And I'm glad you watched this. I hope you watched it anyway. I hope there's at least 2 of you still watching. Okay, there we go. Emergencies, challenge complete. Check for your new trophy. Okay, let's check for our new trophy. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Career progress. Here we go. Let's take a look at the emergency mode down at the bottom. We landed 4 planes successfully. Had some pretty tight spacing there. That was good. Got good safety rating, good efficiency rating. Overall, I'm not a bad controller in here. And look at that. My trophy case was cold and dark, but I now have the ba-ba-da-ba emergency trophy. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you try this game, and if you haven't played it before, definitely try the ATC school. That's and then followed by the training, which is also really important. So thanks for watching, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.